Good evening, and thank you for joining me on this discussion on Thomas Jefferson's legacy. Thomas Jefferson is a very conflicted individual in American history. Historians and those who just enjoy history are conflicted by his dual personality, the personality that was expressed within documents, and then the actual actions and lives of Thomas Jefferson with his journal entries and notes, if you will. A little background on Thomas Jefferson. Of course, we know that he was the primary author of the Declaration of Independence before becoming a founding father or a delegate to the First and Second Continental Congress. He was the author of the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedoms. After he authored the Declaration of Independence, he worked as a ambassador, if you will, for our new nation as we worked through the American Revolution. After the American Revolution, he served as Secretary of State, Vice President, and then became our third president. Personally, Thomas Jefferson was a resident of Virginia. He built two plantation-style homes here in Virginia. He was married. His wife died relatively young. After his stint as president, he returned back to Virginia, where he continued to work on the establishment and the growing nature of the University of Virginia. As I stated earlier, Thomas Jefferson is a complex individual. His thoughts and ideals expressed in the Declaration of Independence contradict his lifestyle. In the Declaration of Independence, we know look at the first term. All men are created equal. How we ask ourselves, how can a man write such a document and also own slaves themselves and profit off of not only their misery, but their labor? When it comes to religious freedoms, Thomas Jefferson is remembered for his stance on what will become the Establishment Clause. In a letter, he wrote basically stating that there should be a wall between church and state. But if we look more into his personal documents, we see that Thomas Jefferson actually called for a government to be influenced by religion, just not so much as for a state-sponsored religion like in England or in past war history, other nations. In terms of slavery, he believed that slaves were property for life. However, he did free 7 slaves, 3, including Sally Hemings, which is his quote-unquote mistress, and her son. Alongside with, in terms of Thomas Jefferson's lasting legacy, one thing I believe that cannot be taken apart from his personal life is his contributions to our nation. The Declaration of Independence was the most treasonous document in world history at that time, but it was the catalyst that gave our nation a start, and his mind on the formation of government, coupled with the ideals and philosophies from the Enlightenment, gave us our nation today. It is my belief that Thomas Jefferson, while he was a conflicted individual with his personal life, he aspired to do better, and that can be seen from his religious standpoints as well. Thomas Jefferson may not have been the most religious, outgoing man. However, he did see value in religion, and that is extremely expressed in his Virginia statutes for religious freedom. According to course guidelines, historians must be dedicated to a reasoned and investigated reconstruction of primary sources. I mention this not only because it's part of the worldview for this course, but also it applies to how we view our founding fathers and those men who, while did great things, they were conflicted and did things that we looked upon. I believe we must take these men and place them in the historical context in which they are, their time. It was not unusual for a wealthy man in Virginia to own slaves alongside that, but that does not mean he could not dream better for the nation. In my opinion, Thomas Jefferson offers a great portrait to what our nation is. Thomas Jefferson, on paper, presented ideals that he hoped this country could live up to, while he himself struggled to meet his own standards. Today, our founding documents, our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedoms, all of these documents are looked upon as pillar stones of our government because we look to them for guidance. Thank you.